I have said, and I want to repeat here, that the positions we hold are not permanent. Sifuna was not born to be SG of ODM forever. I have done 7 years. This is my 8th year as SG of ODM. And I believe that Raila's position has always been that we as ODM can only walk the journey with people who are like-minded, pro-people political parties. The position of Senator of Nairobi is not my birthright. It is not something that I will hold on to forever. There will come a day when there will be another senator. I have predecessors. There are people who have held this position before. Ekuru, whether I win or lose, that is not the point. The mission in 2027 is not to make Sifuna senator. The mission in 2027 is to rescue our country. Whatever it takes, Trevor, if it takes Sifuna losing the Senate of Nairobi to kick William Ruto out and make him a one-term president, so be it. That is a higher calling than me being senator. You know? So I am telling you, Ekuru, you have what we call delusions of grandeur. Nobody wakes up thinking about Ekuru or Third Way Alliance. We let you run alone in a repeat election. You came up with 18,000 votes. That's a third of the votes that I got in Kileleshwa ward in Nairobi. That's what I'm telling you.
How ignorant
so
you are.
I am telling you, I'm telling you, you Ekuru, you overestimate. No, I am responding to the things that you have said.
Don't be bitter.
I'm not bitter. This is how I am, Trevor, and you know me. I am responding to the things that you have said. You are insignificant in the political calculations of the country. Ekuru, we could let you run alone in 2027 and you will still lose that election. Because people will simply not show up.
Actually, I will be more than happy to run alongside.
Alone. Alone. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let me finish.
Will also lose
Let me finish. Let me finish. I want to say, there are people who are saying, oh, yes, Ruto is going home, but who is this person that will replace him? I want to tell you, Trevor, the anger that I feel from Kenyans, in 2027, we will just say anyone but Ruto. Anyone but Ruto. There will be no room for sentiment. There will be no room for saying, oh, we want this expert on this and this expert on that. We want to rescue our country. We want to live in a country that is free. People are living in fear. This is not the country that we wanted. We want to fix the software of this country. Lastly, Trevor, I am a lawyer, and Ojienda is supposed to be a professor of law. He knows what the provisions of the Political Parties Act, vis-a-vis you being elected in ODM, but being the one advocating for the interest of a rival political party. In fact, these people, like Ojienda and Kinaladwa, should be facing disciplinary action in the party because it is a violation of the law. This is not Sifuna saying. The Political Parties Act does not allow me as ODM, and you know very well there is no agreement with this other political party, and you stand up and you say in 2027, you're going to vote for somebody else. At the very minimum, as a member of ODM, you should be saying we should be strengthening ourselves to put ourselves in a good position to be able to take power, because that's what political parties exist to do. Why can this Kina Ojienda and Aladwa just leave ODM and join UDA? Why can't they go there, the party of the person that they want to vote for? Let them go to UDA and let us meet as ODM on the ground. Because you cannot be a member of ODM and advocate for interests of another political party. It's against the law.
We were in Addis. No, we were all in Addis. Sifuna was not in Addis Ababa.
A quick rejoinder.
Yes.
A quick rejoinder. Yes. Listening to Sifuna, listening to Ojienda, listening to Aladwa, you know what? I am happy in my small outfit called Third Way Alliance because we are principled.
We?
Yes, we are. Yes. No.
You cannot use plural, but say I am principled.
You know, Sifuna.
Who is we?
Sifuna. You earlier on told me not to speak for yourself. Now you want me to
But you can't tell us any other member of Third Way. We have asked you to tell us your chairman in Nairobi.
Just go to the political party's office and you will see the structures are there. And
you don't know him. Actually, he doesn't exist.
Anyway, be that as it may, let me tell you. You see, the psychophancy I see with Sifuna and the worship of Raila Odinga, he wants Ojienda to be punished, Aladwa to be punished and to leave the law.
You're a lawyer.
Yes, I am a lawyer.
What does the political party say? What does the political party say?
No. Wait. Yeah. Okay, let me refresh his memory. 2018, March 9th. Didn't his party leader sign, go into handshake with Uhuru regime, which they are opposed to?
Did he say he was going to vote for Uhuru?
No, it's not about voting.
Read the law. No. What does the law say?
Listen.
What does the law say?
You know the problem is Sifuna,
you are a lawyer, Bana, my friend.
Yes, I'm a lawyer, and I think I'm a better lawyer than you.
But you're speaking like a Mamamboga.
Yes, I'm a better lawyer than you. I'm not just a loud man like you ODM are. No, the problem with the ODM guy, you're just a loud man, but you're empty.
Read the law.
Listen, in 2018, March 9th, the party leader of ODM called Raila Odinga went into an agreement called the handshake with the regime of Uhuru Kenyatta at that time, Jubilee. okay, which they had opposed in the 2017 election. And I assisted them because of their level of ignorance. I assisted them in the Supreme Court to actually nullify that election. And if Sifuna here pretends that he is, I mean, not pretending, I know he's a lawyer, but I think he's a lawyer who has no capacity to do research. If you were to read, for example, the Supreme Court judgment, you will see that because of the audit that was conducted by our national chairman, called P.Ruto, who he doesn't want to recognize, you know, of only 27 constituencies, they were being lured by Uhuru Kenyatta regime then to go into vote counting. And I remember working very closely with Paul Mwangi, who was then the ODM, lawyer. And I told him, guys, and I even called Raila. I met Raila myself. And I told him, don't accept to be lured into this vote counting. Let's attack the transmission of results. And what nullified that election was the audit that was conducted by Third Way Alliance Kenya, which he calls a small party. They have failed in 5 elections, went to the Supreme Court, not won anything until we filed our audit report that actually attacked the transmission of results. And if you remember the words of Maraga, Justice Maraga Emeritus, he said, because of irregularities and illegalities in the transmission, we are nullifying this election. That is a Supreme Court judgment, courtesy of you as truly here, Third Way Alliance Kenya and the Ekuru Court. Now, having said that, you see, even when you hear Sifuna and Ojienda, and I mean, you can talk of a big outfit, but if you're empty in terms of ideas.
You're insulting us. Are you insulting?
Okay.
No, I'm not.
He's allowed to insult us.
I'm not.
You're here to do
He's allowed.
You also insulted me.
And we will do more insulting.
Yeah.
And we are not done.
And I will equally respond.
Correct.
Let's go. And I will equally respond.
Let's go.
And I will equally respond.
Correct.
You cannot intimidate me.
Yeah.
But the question I'm saying, and I agree, there are bigger issues in this country. And I think to pretend that ODM is not in government, and this is why I agree with Professor Ojienda. Yeah? Sifuna here wants to punish Ojienda. Why hasn't he invoked the same provisions of the Political Parties Act against his own party leader? When he went into bed, in fact, he should also, discipline Baba. Yeah? They went for Karoli Omondi, they went for the guy for Bondo, and all those other guys. These are just pretentious talks. Because Sifuna knows if he goes against Baba, his bread and butter today will not be there.
Okay. Let Ojienda respond, then I'll come to you. Yes.
But nobody has talked about Ojienda. Ojienda is in UDA.
No, Trevor.
Ojienda is in UDA.
No, Ojienda is in ODM.
Trevor.
Are you in UDA?
I am in ODM to stay, and as you know that he has my record.
And you mentioned that
he's my foremost.
What happened in Addis?
Yes. My colleague and friend Sifuna was not in Addis. In Addis, we had members of parliament from Jubilee, from ODM, from UDA, from every political party across the divide. And we were with the President, William Ruto, and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. The government was there. Sifuna was not. I looked for Sifuna in all hotels in Addis. I did not see him.
What did you want to do to me in the hotel?
I did not see him.
Why are you looking for me in the hotel?
Trevor, I'm just confirming that our heart is with Baba.
Yeah.
Sifuna's heart is fading away. I don't know what has happened to Sifuna. Sifuna is I know you can no longer hold him. We are trying to hold him and he's just slithing away. He seems to be too independent to believe in the reality and in some of the ideals of a broad-based structure. The ideals of a broad-based structure is that you embrace every bit of other political shades and form government that serves the people. That is why, for instance, in leadership in Parliament now, we know that we had the majority-minority question in the National Assembly the other week and in Senate, and there's some form of understanding that in the spirit of the broad-based arrangement, the majority party and minority parties will cede some seats, and we'll have some integrated form of leadership. And I think my learned friend Sifuna knows that as much. Mm-hmm. So the application of the Political Parties Act, specifically Section 14, and other sections that speak to membership of parties do no longer hold, because in this broad-based arrangement, UDA and ODM and Jubilee freely interact in ideals that are aimed at developing or having a nation that pulls in one direction. Okay. And I think that is the thinking that Sifuna is missing. Sifuna is still so strictly stuck to certain old positions that have been overtaken by events and by the reality. The political reality, Trevor, is that ODM, UDA, Jubilee are working together towards a position that strengthens government and that ensures that we deliver to the people of this country. This is a people-centric government that singularly delivers to the people. So let's look at the people beyond political parties, look at the people. But in terms of membership, I jealously belong to ODM and will continue to be. I think I'm a life member, and Sifuna knows that. He gave me my card. In fact, he issued. He's the one who signed my
Trevor, you
believe in old positions of a taken
what he calls old positions, I call values, the things that we believe in. The law is the law. When you have 3 lawyers here and 2 of them are acting oblivious to the law, there is something wrong. If you read Section 14 of the Political Parties Act, it says a person shall not be a member of more than one political party. And a person, while being a member of a political party, a person who, while being a member of a political party, in any way or manner, publicly advocates for formation of another political party or promotes the ideology, interests or policies of another political party shall, notwithstanding the provisions of subsection 1 or any other written law, be deemed to have resigned from the previous political party. The moment you are a member of ODM and you say you will vote for a candidate other than a candidate promoted by your own party, you are advancing the interests of that political party, which is why I'm saying, by dint of the law as it is today, Aladwa and his colleague here are deemed to have resigned from ODM. They are now, for all intents and purposes, members of UDA. Now, this particular party, just a minute, let me read the law. This particular law anticipated what Ojienda is trying to tell us here. There is a condition under which you are allowed to do these things even when you don't belong to that political party. It says here at the proviso that these provisions shall not apply in a condition or a situation where you are in a coalition agreement or in a coalition pact. You understand, Trevor? That is the law that these guys want to run away from. Now, secondly, political parties are not formed to win court cases. Political parties are formed to win power. So if you are a political entity and you count your victories as the number of times you have argued before the Supreme Court, you are an NGO, you are not a political party. I am preparing ODM for 4 by-elections, and I have run a total number of 1 general election and at least 10 by-elections. Trevor, you were there with me. In all of those areas, from Kwale to Matungu, all of those places, there is no presence of Third Way Alliance. So when he talks to us about victories in court, fold your party and form an NGO, Ekuru court, that's not why political parties exist. So for us as ODM, we will count our victories not in the courts. If Ekuru court, you ran alone, I am telling you, you would not meet the threshold to be elected as president because your votes are known. They are 18,000. You understand? So please, don't come here and tell us about ODM and being selfish.
Let him finish.
And so on and so forth. So I want to be very clear, Trevor, that for me, these things they say that I am stuck in old positions, that I am too independent. It's called values. And if you don't stand by your values when they are being tested, they are hobbies. You would rather stop calling yourself somebody who believes in values. And this party that is called ODM, until and unless you have complied with the law on how you can interact with other political parties, I hold the position that we are in a very good place as ODM to form government in 2027. There is nothing that stops us. We have alliances with people who are like-minded, people who believe in the things that we believe in. We can walk the journey with those same people and win the election. Okay. So these people who are selling off the opportunity for ODM to form government, you have to ask what is their motivation.
Okay, there are also people believe in you. In fact, there's a rumor ongoing that the Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, his DAP Kenya counterpart Eugene Wamalwa, and also the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua held political discussions, and they're thinking of forming a political coalition.
Yeah.
In fact, the next step is they're coming to speak to your party leader. Are those like-minded individuals who you will form a coalition with going forward?
Let me reiterate the thing that I said here about the constitution of ODM. It is the party leader who will give us that direction. It is in the constitution, it says it is him to lead those discussions. Okay. So he will make a decision whether he wants to sit with his colleague, what is his name, the Wiper boss, Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, all of those people were in Azimio. They are still in Azimio with us. Now, Rigathi Gachagua is not eligible to run for elections. He's not eligible to run because he's an impeached deputy president. So let them have whatever discussions they want. But I can assure you that whatever decision is made, it has to be for the interest of the people, to save this country from this regime.
Yeah, but the party leader will give that.
That is his job. That is his job under the constitution. The rest of us are just giving our views.
So
we are giving our views.
We
are giving our views. I have said my piece, Trevor, that it doesn't matter what is said. I will not be voting for William Ruto. I have said it. That's my choice. That's my democratic choice. And nobody can force me.
Okay.
Trevor.
Yeah.
You know, listening to Sifuna, apart from just being loud in articulating doublespeak, Sifuna is choosing to interpret the law conveniently.
You can't even read the law, so read it first.
Give us your interpretation.
Have you done your research?
Okay.
Sifuna,
have you finished your research?
Like I said,
let him tell us if he has finished the research, and let him read the law the way that I read the law, and then interpret. Let him read first.
Like I said, so let me educate him a little bit.
Read the law.
I'll educate you kidogo. Si umesoma article 14. No, I don't have to, because I know it offered. I don't have to read. I'm not slow like you. Okay. I'm sharp.
So, tell us.
Listen, let's go back to what the law that he read, that you cannot belong to two political parties and you cannot promote, the principles of an ideology of another political party. Let's go to Azimio la Umoja political party, okay? And let's compare to ODM. Are those two political parties? Because Azimio la Umoja is not a coalition, it's actually called political party. That's what was registered at the...
Let's open the law again.
Wait, Ngoja. Stop shouting.
This is the reason why you need to read the law.
Can you read
the law?
Let him finish.
Sifuna.
A party can be both a coalition and a party. It is in the law. Okay. That's why I tell you to read the law, and then you claim it's in your head. It's not in your head.
Listen, and let me tell you, Trevor, the mediocrity in ODM and this Azimio.
No, you're insulting.
No.
Let him read the law. Can he just read the law? That's why I was insisting. Let him read the law.
Let him give it a
It's a circus because we have a clown. We have a clown who won't read the law. Read the law.
On something, because these people are not very clever.
Remove ODM from your mouth. Don't say ODM.
I will not.
Just say Sifuna. Say Sifuna not to
party. Yeah. Was registered with the register of political parties, right? Then there was ODM. Kenya Kwanza coalition. Actually, this is how Kenya Kwanza or Kenya Kwisha beat these guys. Because in their level of ignorance, they gave Raila Amolo Odinga a certificate as Azimio la Umoja coalition political party, instead of giving him a certificate under ODM. William Ruto and his team were very clever enough. They could not have given him a certificate under Kenya Kwanza, but they gave him a certificate as UDA. In fact, we went to court and asked the court for interpretation. Can you then be a member of two political parties at the same time?
Another court victory.
Ngoja. Yes.
You're an NGO,
yes.
bro.
We beat you in court because...
Forget politics.
Because we are better lawyers than you guys.
Politics. Just go and open an NGO.
You guys just shout. You claim that you're a big political party. You have never won any election. You've lost. In fact, when you say you win for power, which power? ODM is a tumbocrat party. That's all we know. That's a fact.
And what is one-way alliance?
Talk
about yourself for a change.
Third Way Alliance is a principled party that believes in the rule of law, believes in certain principles. We will never shift our alliance for convenience, like Sifuna does, like Ojienda does, like Aladwa does, all of you guys. You're just pretentious. You're not even guiding this country correctly. Look, Mbadi, who Ojienda now is praising, is doing a stellar job, was so opposed to the finance bill of 2024. He talked really bad about it. But we all now know having been incorporated into government through ODM, of course. Yeah. Now he's talking very good about, and he's trying to bring back those. And let me tell you, we will wait for them. Let them bring those proposals. And yes, Sifuna, I will still go back to court, and I know we'll win.
Okay, I want us to shift this discussion and bring in Prof on a different conversation here. Senate committee realignment, which is coming up. There's been allegations from those who are supporting the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that this is a purge against them. So is this meant to strengthen the committees or to reward the ODM men with the chairmanship of these committees that are shifting?
Trevor, I think on committees, of course, in Senate, we have the deputy whip here, and he will speak to that. At the National Assembly, where we have the minority leader, Junet Mohammed, and Millie Odhiambo, the whip, I will speak to how committees are organized. Usually, whips play a central role. Of course, minority leader and whip, or majority leader and whip in National Assembly and Senate play a role in reorganizing committees. Of course, usually the focus is on delivery, because committees under the standing orders, we have, of course, oversight committees where minority will sit, and we have standing committees that are organized in a fashion to ensure that specific agenda is brought to the floor of the House, and those issues are then taken up, whether they come up in the form of statements, motions, or bills, to the stage where they become law. Of concern, Trevor, and this is important, is that it is difficult to chair a committee if you may not deliver an agenda that is progressive or that is aligned to certain ideals. And I think that probably defines the possibility that when you, quote unquote, become opposant or on the other side, that you almost automatically belong to an oversight framework. And I'm sure that has informed some of the actions. I do not, midterm, every election, that is after 1 or 2.5 years into the 5-year term in Parliament, committees are reorganized. Now, if you are removed from a committee to another committee, what will be read into the reorganization is that you have been removed. At times, it is for reasons other than removal. It is because you did not deliver, you never sat during sessions, you are not made up for that committee, because what informs constitutional committees in the first instance usually is political allegiance or political questions as defined by the parties when you enter Parliament. But you find certain members of Parliament so ill-suited for certain positions that you wonder why they're in certain committees in the first place.
So it's not based on,
for instance,
it's based on political allegiance.
Political, yes. For instance, why would you take a professional like myself to a certain committee that has nothing to do with me? Take a doctor, for instance, to a committee on education. He would be best suited in health, for instance. Why would you take a journeyman or a person with no specific qualification to JLAC, to the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee? He does not know the law. And that is what Sifuna and Ekuru are arguing about, that Ekuru is focusing on winning court cases. He would serve well in JLAC, for instance, if he was elected. So there are certain considerations that you look at. And I have members of Senate, for instance, who come to me and tell me that I'm in this committee that I don't like. I do not practice agriculture. But they put in agriculture, I will not even attend those meetings. So I think there's a level, and Sifuna will speak to this, he knows better because he's a deputy whip, that there's need to align qualifications or professions of the people you elect to Parliament to committees that are there. You find people in committees that, honestly, they do not fit to be in. So they just go there and sit and listen and leave. If you take
this is not about punishing.
It is so it is perceived realignment. He'll explain better. No, it's not about punishment. But there's also another question, Trevor. Representation. For instance, the Parliamentary Service Commission has members. If you have a member who is completely opposed to your agenda, you may not need to have him in that commission. You may have to bring a member who is aligned to your agenda to sit in that commission. So there are political questions in all this.
I just want to respond quickly. Just a quick agenda.
How do you respond about committees? You're not in parliament.
Yes, I'm not.
We are discussing.
No, I'm not.
We are finished with your party.
Sifuna, stop the triviality.
No, we are finished.
Listen, there's a bigger question that Ojienda is raising, which I hope Sifuna will address if he has that mind to be able to address bigger issues. You see, the leadership in Kenya, in my view, which is what he's speaking about, is attacking the deplorables, which is where there is a failure. Both, in fact, Parliament, which they all belong to, is an extension of the executive. Sifuna, I wish he had gone to court, because that's where
I'm a politician, my friend. I practice in the parliament.
Yes, you are a politician.
For heaven's sake, we are talking about
you are a politician, but you also don't understand why you're in parliament. Because in parliament, you pass laws. And when those laws are violated, you go to court for interpretation. Okay. That's what any lawyer knows. So the question really that Ojienda is raising, which for me is a bigger question, before Sifuna comes with these trivialities, is that the leadership in Kenya is now in question, both at the executive level and at the legislative level. Yeah. Ojienda, I want to differ with you briefly that even if you're put in the Committee of Agriculture, or whatever the case may be, the people send you there as a representative. You legislate and you oversight government. All those roles have failed because as a Kenyan, as a consumer of what comes from parliament, is that laws actually are no longer friendly to the people. Okay. The leadership is not representative. It's about personal interest, which is why ODM and Sifuna stamping that is SG of a party with 5 million people could not have opposed the idea that members of his own political party actually were bought by UDA. Then UDA lied, and thanks to God, thanks to the court, the other day, judgment has come out to say actually that UDA Kenya Kwanza is not the majority, did not garner the majority, because it is the people of Kenya at a polling station that decided who they want to send to parliament. Okay. But because of political convenience and tumbo manenos, ODM will not speak about that. Okay. And that's why they are split as a party.
On these committees, is this based on leadership and competence or political allegiance?
First, let me say, Ekuru, because I'm in parliament, let me pass the laws, you go to court, because you've told us
yes, I will.
The stronghold of Third Way Alliance is in the Court of Appeal. You go there and practice what you practice there. I will do my job as a legislator.
I will.
Trevor, back to your question. I heard the leader of majority, because these changes in the leadership of the committees have largely affected the membership of the majority. I saw him on TV yesterday, the Honorable Aaron Cheruiyot, saying that there are people who have fallen out of favor in their own political party. So that is a question that you can properly put to him, not to us, because in our arrangement, nobody is being punished for anything. We had 2 committees, and that is the County Public Accounts Committee. The chairperson in the last session was Honorable Moses Kajwang. He is still the chairperson of PAC. We had the chairperson of the Public Investments Committee, chaired by Senator Ososi. He is still the chairperson.
But your people are now being fronted
so
to other roles.
That's what I'm telling you. When it comes, let me explain. When it comes to elections in the committee, and I want to share my personal experience. In 2022, when we were elected, I was proposed to be the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee in the Senate on the day of the election, because I was a fresher. I didn't know what goes on in Parliament. The gentleman who is now the chair of PAC, Moses Kajwang, because he was a third-term member of parliament, he was able to convince other members from across the aisle. Actually, they cut a deal with Senator Cherargei. And that is how Senator Cherargei became a vice chairperson of PAC, yet he is not a member of Azimio. So in those committee elections, it is possible for you to persuade people from across the aisle, because there are various issues that are at play. Number 2, Trevor, it is very embarrassing for us sometimes to be in a committee and you're hosting serious people who have come before the committee, and the chairperson is inept, is unable to do the job of chairperson. I have been embarrassed personally, sitting in a committee there, and you can see the person who's the chairperson is struggling, yet there are still members of that committee who can run the show. And that is why sometimes you see some of us hijacking proceedings of those committees, because we know that the person who was there, he was put there because he's from the majority party, but he cannot do the job. At this particular tail end of the Senate, I think there is consensus amongst the senators that now it is time to get down to business and conclude the business that we started in the first half. And that therefore, we want serious leadership in our committees. I am not going to be in a committee where there is ineptitude. I joined the Security, Defense and Foreign Relations Committee this particular session because there's things we want to do in that Security Committee. We want to do an audit of all the abductions that have happened in this country. I want to understand Kenya's foreign policy. I want that Korir Singh to come before my committee with his big English and tell us how he could allow Kizza Besigye to be abducted from Kenya. That is why I am in that committee. And I want a serious chairperson, somebody who believes in the rule of law. You are not going to just front any person for committee chairmanship and tell us that this is the person who's going to lead us. We are going to vote in that committee. I want a serious chairperson in the committees that I belong to. Lastly, Ekuru mentioned something about Mbadi. Mbadi is my former chairperson, but he's a cabinet secretary in Kenya Kwanza government. There are things that Mbadi says, and I see that he remembers where he came from. For instance, when Mbadi said that he will be proposing a reduction in taxes, including pay as you earn, that is ODM. That is ODM. When Mbadi tells us that he will not be introducing any new finance bills, Trevor, that is ODM. We sat here and I remember you telling you that I will be speaking to the chairperson of the Azimio Economic Council. That was then Nderitu Mureithi. Nderitu Mureithi is appointed to government and he's speaking the same language we spoke, that there is no need to have an annual finance bill because it makes life very unpredictable. Those are the people that when they speak those things, we see that they remember where they come from. But when he stands up and says something else, we have also a responsibility to say, no. John Mbadi, if you bring any taxes, the same taxes that we rejected in 2024, I can assure you, Trevor, I will be there to remind him that this is not who we are. We will reject those proposals. So you can trust that there is some of us, he will call them old habits. I call them values. Because if you don't stick to your values, the values are supposed to be your guiding light. I will receive a lot of flack for some of the things that I've said here. But Trevor, you can count on me. You can call me any day. I will say the same thing. I will never be a hypocrite.